Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Samantha Russell from 20 over 10, which has recently been acquired by FMG Suite. So now I get to say 20 over 10, an FMG Suite company. And I'd like to welcome you all today to talk with us about implementing a video first marketing strategy. Now, we've had many presentations about video before and tutorials about how to use video, how to get started with video, but never before have I been joined by two esteemed colleagues who know so much themselves about video and are really, really experts at helping financial advisors just like you get started creating video. So I am so excited to have Cadence and Megan from FiComm Partners joining us today. And we're really packed this presentation full of really great tips for all of you. And thank you to everybody who has submitted videos of themselves submitted their videos on camera that they are open to having us give some feedback on. So we, again, have a packed agenda for today's presentation. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions at all, don't save them till the end. Ask them when they come up so that we can answer them throughout the presentation. So you can do that by putting them either in the chat, and then they'll be available for everyone to read, or just put them in the Q&A box, and then only the presenters will be able to see those. This is being recorded, and you're going to get all of the slides. So what's great about that is there's lots of great information on the slides and links that you'll be able to use as resources after the fact as well. So that will all be emailed to you. So what are we going to discuss today? The first thing we're going to discuss is the old school versus the new school mindset when it comes to video. Then we're going to talk about everyone's favorite gear. What gear should you use? A hint, just so you know, we're going to help you make gear choices, but at the end of the day, the gear should not be the thing preventing you from getting started. So don't get too, attached to that. Then we're going to talk about video editing with very little experience, which is for most of us, we're exactly where we fall, no experience whatsoever. And then we'll talk about how to get more engagement on your videos and how to distribute them so you get more views. And then, of course, answer any questions that you have along the way. So just to get this conversation started, I would love to hear from all of you in the chat. Why are you here today? What are you most excited to learn? Maybe tell me, are you already creating video and you want to get better at it? Do you want to get started using video? Are you here on behalf of your firm because you're trying to get your firm to start using it? Let us know what you're most excited to learn about today so that we can really hone in on that for you and spend the most time on that particular area. So tell us in the chat. Let me also just share a little bit about myself in case you've never come to a presentation that I've been at before and I'm a brand new face to you. So I'm Samantha Russell, the Chief Evangelist at FMG Suite, and I have been helping advisors with marketing for over 6 years. And those two little cute kiddos on the left are my two children, Hudson and Grace. I was pregnant with Hudson. He's almost 6 now when I got started doing this with 20 over 10 at the time. And I'm just so happy to be here with you all. I am so passionate about helping advisors become better marketers for their business. And instead of me introducing them, I'm going to let our guests introduce themselves. So thank you again, ladies, so much for being here. And you're going to kick us off with the first section. So Megan, why don't I hand things over to you and introduce yourself?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Samantha, for inviting Candace and I to be here today. We're really psyched. We love to talk about all things advisor marketing. And what we learned in 2020 was that video is a really important part of that. And thank you all for being here and for engaging with us in the chat. I'm excited to see why you've showed up. So really quickly about myself, and then I'll let Candace introduce herself. I'm the CEO and co-founder here at FiComm. I hope that you'll call me Meg. I have been working with advisors my entire career. I got started in the insurance broker-dealer world, working in the field with advisors before I started FiComm almost 9 years ago. And we're entirely focused on helping advisors to build better, stronger businesses through their marketing and PR efforts. So I've had the opportunity to work alongside advisors for almost 20 years now. I'm super passionate about you and the service that you provide to your clients. And so that's what fulfills me in my professional life every day. And I'm here with Candace Carlton, who is FiComm's head of advisor education and who has a similar background in having spent her entire career working in the wealth management and advisory space. Candace, I'll pass it over to you to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here. Sam and team, thanks for inviting us. We are passionate about all things video, so it's one of our favorite topics to talk about. I've spent my entire career in the RIA industry. I think I've actually had every position you can have in an RIA. So I started on a trade desk, spent 7 years in the investment department at Mercer Advisors before I moved across to United Capital. That was acquired by Goldman Sachs, and I built United Capital's digital network, which was a video first platform for advisor and prospect video, as well as internals. We did everything on video, really cool. I've also worked with clients like XY Planning to build their growth marketing workshop. And last year had the privilege to join Megan's team and launch Advisor Education, which we were really proud and excited to say was recognized as a top 4 finalist in the category of industry disruptors by wealthmanagement.com. So every day I work with advisors exactly like you to coach them on strategic marketing to drive results, video, as well as podcasting. So super excited to see that a lot of you completed the survey and you said, I think it was just under 50% of you are just getting started. So we couldn't be more excited to be here.
And I am just like loving you, the audience right now. I'm reading your chats and your questions, and I'm like, we're so in the right place, Candace and I. Like, we're gonna jam for this next 50 minutes. This is gonna be really fun. So we wanna just begin by super quickly setting the stage, and you're telling us in the chat why you're here. You're here because you are either not using video and you want to start using video, or you're currently using video and you want to improve. And there's a lot of really great nuggets that we're going to read through in the chat to make sure that we're giving you the guidance that you're looking for. But I do think it's important for us to contextualize like just why video is so important. And I think that what 2020 taught us is that now really is the time for our industry, for financial advisors, to think about how you are evolving the way that you're connecting with people and how you are able to meet them where they're at, which is mostly on mobile today and also, you know, in front of a screen. And so Samantha, if you'll go to the next slide, this is just a picture of like a very small snapshot of my 2020 on video. And I think what's important to just recognize is that last year solidified a lot of what we know and love about this industry. One is that the client and advisor relationship has evolved to a really exciting place where you as a financial advisor are such a crucial part of the lives of your clients. So that relationship in 2020, what we experienced during the pandemic and what we're going to continue to experience going forward, it just became even more critical. But how do you connect with people when you can't go and see them? And this is an industry that's built on relationships. So we know how you've built your business. You're great at being out in the community. You're great at developing relationships with strategic alliances. You're great at supporting local causes, and you're rainmakers. You've been out in the community physically, and now it's different. That has just changed. And what it taught us is that there's so many great opportunities to continue to make those really awesome connection points, but just in new ways. And so I think what we learned last year is that we're living in a digital world. We already knew that. That was nothing that was, you know, groundbreaking. But last year it forced us as an industry to really catch up and to accelerate the tools that we're using to connect with people. And so video for us is just such an awesome tool to make a real human connection with the people that matter most to you and your business. And so what we want to talk about today is, of course, how to be great on video, but we also just want to give you some ideas about how you can use video in your practice. And so on the next slide, what you'll see is sort of how we are talking with people about using video to connect and grow. So using it as a way to scale your communication, right? It's not about creating more time in your day to create video. We don't want to add more to your plate. You're already doing a lot. What video can actually help you to do is create scale in your communications. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Video also helps you to increase your close ratio. We're seeing that in real time from advisors that we work with. And the reason that it helps you to increase your close ratio is because when people see you in the prospect experience on video, They happen on your website, they come across you on social, you send them an email with video. By the time they get to you, they feel like they already know you. They sort of already self-selected, like, oh, Samantha is a person that she has information that is important to me. I get her vibe. I've gotten to know her a little bit. I do want to call her. And so it just helps to improve your closing ratios. It makes for much more meaningful meetings because you can utilize video throughout your prospect and client experience to just have really meaningful meetings where you can talk about what matters, because you can use video in between points to stay connected, and also allows you to really drive retention with your existing clients, to generate more referrals and to get greater wallet share. So all of the things we know that are really important for you as an advisor, you absolutely can accomplish through video. So that's just sort of the like why we want you to pay attention, why you're here for a reason. Thank you for being here. It really couldn't be more important from a timing perspective to be talking about video. Now we want to shift gears and talk about sort of what we call the old school versus the new school mindset, because it's about so much more. Successful video is about so much more than just creating a video. It's really about how you're using it to connect with people. So we're going to talk quickly about sort of a compare and contrast. So when we're thinking about old school, let's be real, this industry can be a little bit old school, right? And where there's an opportunity is to think about transitioning. So what is old school? Old school is a mindset that comes to any marketing or communication efforts thinking, this is going to cost me a lot of money. You know, I got to hire a lot of people. I got to spend days doing high production video. That's sort of the old school mindset. The old school mindset is focused entirely on creating credibility. And we don't want to sit here and tell you that credibility isn't important, because it's absolutely important. But it's about so much more than just creating credibility and how you're communicating with people. Old school is about using a lot of jargon, you know, using language that your prospects and clients might not understand, that might sound familiar to you, but to someone, you know, a client or prospect out there in the real world, they're like, I don't get it, or I'm hearing that from everybody. You know, financial advisors love to use charts to talk about performance and what's going on in the what's going on in the market, elevator music, those kinds of things. And really, that's a very old school mindset. We also saw in your responses to the survey, Candace referenced, almost 50% of you are not using video at all. The rest of you are using video primarily on your website, with a smaller portion that are using it across social media. So that's just a really old school approach to video. Candace, why don't you talk us through what the new school mindset for video is?
Yeah, so the new school mindset for video, when you're really thinking about video, there's this sense that advisors really want to perfect, and I think we've got it all there. But really, new school, where we're at, is it's DIY. We're at the stage in our advancement of technology where you don't have to have a expensive, high production crew, and DIY is actually do it yourself. It's the same as, it's a video production term, and it just simply means that you're creating video without that high and really expensive production crew. You're really focused on driving connection. That's how we're consuming content right now. So credibility is a part of it, but it's really, that's kind of table stakes. It's now like, does your prospect connect with you? Are you going to be the person that they feel comfortable calling when they have a big life event? It's about human to human language and really showing up authentically as yourself. So it's not trying to be like someone that you see on CNBC or some influencer that you see on Twitter. It's really showing up as yourself so that your prospect or even your client, they both don't see, the video is a natural extension of what it would be like to be in person with you. So you want them to really get to know you on the front end of the prospect experience, and in your client retention process, have your client feel like they've seen you beyond those 2 semi-annual meetings. So I think that goes to the last point of video is not just a one and done on your website anymore. It's a tool that you can use very successfully across your entire prospect and client experience. If we could go to the next slide, I think it really visually represents this ethos. So Meg, I'll let you talk to the old school.
Yeah, and to Ira's, it's the most current chat about clients of a certain age prefer old school over new school. New school is all about creating connection, and everybody wants to have that connection. So this absolutely applies to any demographic. This is just a visual representation of what we're talking about when we're talking old school versus new school. This is Joe Duran, who started United Capital. As Candace referenced, sold it to Goldman Sachs. On the left here, this is like old school Joe. He is serious. He's wearing his dark suit with his dark tie. He's on broadcast television. And here he's like really, it's important to him in this left visual that he's like showing up as the expert, that he has all of the answers, that he's using overly professional language, right? Like that's the persona that he is showing in this sort of old school visual. And you can imagine, it's really clear. That's why we love this representation. Like if you're looking at the screen, which of the two do you automatically connect with, right? And so Candace is going to talk about the new school Joe, which is just such an easy way to understand, like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So what's really interesting about it, and I'd love for you to put it in the chat, is, the question is, who do you want to have coffee with, old school Joe or new school Joe? And that's really what it comes down to. And you know better than us, your clients come to you because they vibe with you, they connect with you, they trust you. You're the person that they want to call when they've got big life events, that they can be honest and truthful about some of the stuff that they've done and not feel like they're going to be judged or shamed, but actually supported and helped. And I remember when I was working at United Capital, there was a very conscious decision across the firm, and it even included the men not wearing ties to work anymore, which was really interesting. That was like a big deal. Really about like, how do you connect with clients in this really authentic way? Also, there's so much content right now that like, it's a lot of noise. People can tell when they're being sold to, but when you show up authentically in the space of wanting to serve your clients, that resonance is felt, and you're just showing that like visually and in your tone and the language that you're using to really drive connection. So this is really what the new school advisor looks like. And all the visuals that you'll see that we're using are actually graduates, except for not in this time of our DIY video workshop. So we call them video rock stars. Once you come out, you're a video rock star. But I think that this is just such a beautiful representation. We've got Ricky in the top left-hand corner. I think there's this misperception that new school is like just younger, cooler advisors. We actually see the opposite. So we see a lot more experienced advisors coming through our workshops wanting to leverage technology and specifically video to connect with their prospects and clients, because they're clear that that's what their clients now expect, as well as their prospects. We've got Linda in the bottom right-hand corner, and she's an executive actually at Laserfish. So she did a tremendous job. We've got the Altruist team up at the top, and then we've got Michelle Smolberger of Design Studio, which is an RA. They do a tremendous job. This is how our industry is showing up on video, and it's very different how it's historically showed up on video. So this is a good representation. If we could keep rolling. So when we're talking about using video across your entire experience, I think that this is just a good demonstration of this new school. You can use it in email, that one-to-one email, when you're prepping for a meeting, following up to a meeting, website and social, which I know we're going to get into a lot of detail about, but also in that one-to-many capacity, when you're sending it to a subset of prospects or clients. Maybe you've had some meetings and you're hearing a common question. You can just shoot a quick video and send it out. And that's when you're being able to like scale your time and really humanize your response to both your prospects and clients. So the old school is the one and done, high production, over professional language, jargon on your website. And this is what we're really seeing advisors of today who are embracing video, using it across their entire workflow. And I think this will be really important as we begin to address gear and editing. So if we go to the next slide. So what is the gear that you need to get started? It's so interesting. I've been doing video with advisors for so long, and it's the number one question that I get. Candace, what gear do I get? I bought this, blah, blah, blah. And what we've found is a lot of advisors will come into our workshops and maybe they've been following someone on YouTube, they've bought all the expensive gear, and then it only ends up stashed in the corner of their office and no one uses it. So our approach to gear is to really keep it simple. The less barriers you have to actually creating video, the higher the chances that you're going to create video. You don't need to have anything super fancy, and we'll get into a little bit of detail around that. But I just want to give you a real life example of Ricky, our video rock star. If we go to the next slide, where he started when he was coming through our workshops, and then following the framework that we're going to walk you through of really like simple gear. And we'll also have a downloadable checklist for you with all the things that we recommend that you can gather. This is what it looks like in the beginning. And this is a 3-week turnaround. So this is Ricky's week 0 video. So Sam, if you could play that. Thank you. I think it's muted. I think you might be muted. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was muting myself to eliminate the background noise and I eliminated the video sound. Here we go.
Founder and co-owner of Grundon Financial Advisory Corporation, based in Denton, Texas. Now, if you don't know where Denton, Texas is, think of a triangle. Like here's the top of the triangle. Well, Denton is right there at the top of the triangle with Dallas.
Okay, so that's Ricky starting off coming into our program, week 0. This is Ricky at week 3, following the framework that we're going to share with you.
Hello, fellow do-it-yourselfer video people. I think that's what we're calling ourselves these days, but it's great to be back with you. Regarding our assignment, what I've learned about working successfully at home through this COVID-19 is basically increased productivity. We're getting a lot more done. I'm getting a lot more done at home. When I think about the video concept and just talking around it, the change that I want to make with the video is to reach a broader broader audience. And therefore, you know, primarily, even though we make these for our clients and close prospects, they will be able to, our clients will be able to email these to our friends, which then in effect would broaden our audience and our time.
Great. So that's a really beautiful framework. So such a stark difference in that. And that's just in 3 weeks with really simple gear upgrades, some coaching around it. And so what do you need? So let's get started. What is the gear that you need? I know that's why you're all here. A lot of you said that. So it's really simple. And again, you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, no, it can't be that simple. I promise it is. Our recommendation is to skip the fancy gear. I mean, you can shoot it with your phone. Where's my phone? You can shoot it with your phone. You can shoot it with your webcam with some really simple software. And I know in our conversation when we were getting ready, Sam said she shoots with her phone for all her social media, right?
Yes, for any of you, I'd love to know how many people here have seen a video that I've recorded, whether on YouTube or social media. If you have, let me know in the chat. Sometimes people tell me they've seen me everywhere, which is crazy, but I just use my iPhone and it's not even the latest model. I need to go get the latest model, but these new, you can see like the cameras, they're pretty good. And that's all I use. I find great lighting, which is so crucial. And you saw the difference in Ricky's video that great lighting makes. And that's all I use.
So if you want the gear checklist, we'll put it in the chat box again, but it is available. You can just download it and you'll have our really simple gear recommendations. We've got links to what we recommend as well. So Amanda, if you could put that in the chat, that would be so fabulous. So really don't overlook it. You can use your phone, you can use your webcam. Next thing, if you're using your webcam, really leverage tech to simplify. So the thing with the phone is you do have to shoot your video, you then have to move it across to your laptop, you then have to put it in a hosting site or something like that. There's a way to really simplify that. Our top 2 tools that we recommend for advisors are Soapbox by Wistia will be in our gear checklist, or Loom. Those are my 2 favorite. My favorite by far is definitely Soapbox by Wistia, just because it's super intuitive. So you can shoot it on your webcam, it hosts it, it's got really simple editing. And if you do the paid version, which by the way, I think is a steal, the price that they're charging, it's $300 a year, right? And you get unlimited videos, you can download them, you can have your own branding on them. It's really like a worthwhile investment. It's simple. And that's, if you're going to incorporate video into your workflow, again, you want to make it as simple as possible so that if you're starting to notice those frequently asked questions or something that keeps coming up, you can just shoot a video at your laptop and send it off with not much effort. If you're spending 3 days making a video, it's too long. Videos should really be a tool that helps simplify your workflow and really connect with clients. If we could go to the next slide.
If I can just add on Soapbox specifically, like I am a lot of things. Technology whiz is not one of them. And if I can use Soapbox, anybody can use Soapbox. Like it is a Chrome extension. You just press a button, it starts recording, it captures your screen, it allows you to truncate the back and the end really easily. So like these tools, just to validate what Candace is talking about, they're really simple to use and they won't take a lot of time out of your day.
And I just want to address one more thing too. We're getting a lot of questions about like the way you record the video and how you then promote it or share it or distribute it. I will address that in the second half when I'm talking about distribution. So hold those questions.
I love that everyone's getting there. They're like, okay, we understand. We know how to do it. Well, okay, quiet. So we're going to give you some quick tips and you can start applying them straight away. We'll even look at some of the videos that we were submitted, just as examples. We saw a common theme with some really simple adjustments. You can really elevate the look and feel of your video. So the first one is your camera angle, and it seems really intuitive, but I think when we saw, if everyone wants to like watch me, when we saw COVID hit, we had news anchors at home broadcasting like this, right? So we call it like the floating head. So a lot of neck to space above my head. There are really two camera angles that are most flattering that we found in all of our experiences, either at eye level or slightly above. So adjusting your laptop, you can put it on boxes, anything that you need to stack it on. Those are our setup, so there's nothing fancy. I've got a box and a stand. Meg's is a bed, bath, and beyond rack that she found in her house. Just elevating your laptop up. And you can also, if you're shooting on your phone, get a really simple tripod with a phone clip, and that's also in our gear checklist. Advisors have come up, even when they're on webinars, I see them dashing around, stacking printer paper, just knowing that you want to get that really beautiful shot. We could go to the next slide. Once you've framed your shot, you really want to look for really good lighting, right? I know the truth is a lot of you were working in your basements. I know, because I was coaching you and we were like trying to find lighting. If you can, the most effective lighting is going to be actually, ironically, natural lighting. So right now I'm set up in a really big window. I chose this office on purpose because of the lighting. So if you can set yourself up in front of natural light, no windows on the side, and then tinker with the overhead lighting. Lighting is really an art, and in our gear checklist, we have recommendations for the professional light. But again, you want to keep it super simple. Things to be conscious of that are really like nuanced is when do you get the best light during the day, and then making sure that you shoot your videos then. I've had a lot of advisors rework their actual desks in their workspace so that they've got really beautiful lighting, so that they're showing up really well lit for their Zoom meetings, but also their ability to shoot video on the flow. So that's in our gear checklist. You'll see all our recommendations for that. And then
I'm a good example of why natural light is much better than artificial light. I had to come into the office today and Tim called me out in chat. I'm glad you did. Samantha and Candace are both in front of really beautiful natural light. I'm not. So it does make a difference. It sort of looks like it's nighttime here, even though I'm in Los Angeles, like it's not even lunchtime yet, but that's why natural light and getting yourself set up in a place like it's pretty significant.
And so I think, Sam, we had some examples of videos that were submitted, and I looked at them, and just by the way, thank you for submitting them. I know it's really vulnerable to be on video, so really appreciate that. And I saw your videos and I thought they were really tremendous and well done. And if you just adjusted your shot, so your camera angle and your lighting, I felt like it could elevate quite substantially. So if we could just see an example of that, Sam.
Yep.
We'll just watch a few seconds.
Stuart Darrell here with Darrell Capital Management.
Yep.
So Darrell, the lighting, and then Darrell, I think that your camera angle's not quite at eye level or slightly above. We have less of your torso in, so you really want to simulate almost like someone sitting across the table from you. So arm length distance, setting up your camera angle, some beautiful light.
Thank you, Darrell, for everybody who submitted them. That's so brave of you to be asking for feedback. That's how those are the people that are going to be successful because they're not afraid, right? Let's see this one.
Hey everyone, welcome to the 4th episode of Teacher Talk with Tori, a series focused on financial topics relevant to public school teachers.
So Tori, thank you so much for submitting this. Obviously really polished. You've got the lights, the windows on either side, so it looks kind of beautiful, but you appear like potentially not as evenly lit. So I think that there's an opportunity to rework your lighting setup there, as well as your camera angle. We've kind of got it down below. You might want to experiment with what does it look like at eye level or slightly above, and see if you love it even more.
Great. So I think that helps explain those two. Where are we? Here we go.
Yeah. So the second question that we get a lot of is like, once we're past the gears stage, is like, well, what should the backdrop be? Should I use a virtual backdrop? Like, how should I dress? And the intention, it's kind of like everyone wants to appear like super polished, super professional, almost like CNBC style. And the answer that we always give is like, what is authentic to you? So remember, New Skool is all about showing up authentically so that the experience that your prospect or client has of you on video is the same type of experience that they would have if they were in person with you in a meeting. So you want to keep it profesh, but not old school. So for example, if you're someone that wears rolled up sleeve shirts in your meetings and you never wear a blazer, don't put on a blazer for your videos, right? If you are someone who wears fabulously exuberant clothing, like I wear golds and dresses, and that's how you see, this is how I dress in real life, you know? So you're not putting on a show. I think that's an important thing. You're showing up authentically as yourself, and then also being mindful about what your prospect or client expects. I know that some of you might have a prospect that expects you to dress up a little bit more. And so just being conscious of that. You're the expert in it, so showing up in a way that's authentic to you and aligned with the expectation of your prospect or client. So editing. So I think you know where we're going with this, but if we go to our next slide, we just want to keep it simple, right? You don't need to be an editing pro. If you're using Loom or Wistia Soapbox, they have really intuitive built-in editing where you should be able to put down your bullets for your video, shoot it because you've got your setup done really beautifully, and then do some minor edits and get it out, right? That's really the goal. You want to use your video to get out to serve your prospects and clients. So take a minimalistic approach. When we're going through the workshops, advisors start to ask about 2 camera angles and moving graphics, and I love all of that. But when you're just getting started, you really want to keep it simple. So here's some really like basic things. You want to trim the front and back end so people don't see you like getting set up or like clicking off, right? So you just clean that up. Your bumpers, if you're going to add them, so if you're going to download your video and you're going to add like your firm's bumpers or whatever, 5 to 7 seconds max. Sometimes I'm watching videos and I see people's like front and button go on forever. And I'm like, how long do I need to look at this lake and this music? So just keeping it super simple, right? Skip the elevator music. Too often I see a lot of advisors talking and there's like this really like kind of elevator music experience and it's distracting. So we can't really hear you or your message. The music that you choose, if you're going to go that route, is to keep it really simple. Use the same song again and again if that's where you're going to go in, and just fade it in, fade it out. If you're going for like that star power and you want music, you don't need music. Okay, so I'm just going to let you know you don't need music, but if you really want it and you're excited about it, do it, but just keep it simple and keep it consistent. And then when you get to a phase where maybe you're producing a ton of video content and you want to have it edited, outsource it. So that's what I would say. But in the beginning, just get started, keep it simple. We actually have an example of a LinkedIn video that has very minimal editing, but just does a beautiful job. And then Sam, I think it might be muted.
Price to be paid as investors. For some, it's just getting that money saved in the first place. Unfortunately, there are others you need to know about. So there's no way around it.
So really simple. They're doing an in-house shoot. It looks like they did a little bit of editing. They don't even have captions. Really simple, professional, polished, New Skool, right? So New Skool is not about being like unpolished, but it's just about being real and keeping it really simple and agile. If you want to do some editing for social media, we've got two software tools that we recommend. So it's cloud-based editing, so you don't have to download files, move them, have a whole bunch of space. And that's Animoto, really simple, really intuitive, as well as Subtitle. So Subtitle is more that like consumer friendly, where you've got the bar at the top and you watch the progress bar and everyone can see what you're doing. But if you're going to do social editing, those are our 2 recommendations. If we go to the next slide, please. Really, the essence of New Skool: start small, be consistent, get better. So don't overcomplicate your life. Find one place where you want to start creating video. Keep it minimalistic in approach. Keep your gear super simple, your editing super simple, and then see what works over time. What are prospects responding to? What are clients responding to? And spend more of your time there. So I know, Sam, we're going to kick it over to you because everyone wants to know, now that they've created video, how do they get engagement and how do they drive people to watch more of their content?
Awesome. And I know, Candace, if I can send you over to the chat and the question box, it looks like some people did have questions about like maybe where to get music or things that maybe you could address in the chat while I kick this off. So the first thing I'm going to say is that I know many of you who are creating video will wonder, like, should I put it on Vimeo? Should I put it on YouTube? Should I put it on Wistia? I am a huge believer that every single business should have a YouTube channel. Now, I know immediately some of you are going to say, like, well, what about compliance? And that definitely can be something that you need to consider. But the reason I say this is that YouTube is the second largest search engine after Google. And you will actually be able to get found more if your videos are on YouTube. So what I mean by that is, let's say I do a Google search, there we go. I had prepped it beforehand. Can financial advisors get Google reviews? Watch this. All these videos I've made on this topic, they're right there in the search. People are going to find these videos just from doing Google searches, right? And this can be the same with your video. So putting it on YouTube is crucial if you want more people to find it, which I know so many of you said, like, number one thing, how do I get more views? So that's tip number one, is just get on YouTube. So there's some things that you want to do if you're going to set up a YouTube channel. And I'm actually going to go back into the browser here in a second and log in to our YouTube channel and show you these in real time. But just so that you make sure you have some of these things down pat, really you want to come up with a cadence of how often you're going to add video and then stick to it. So again, our theme here is, what is the lowest barrier to entry? And it's for everything. It's for the gear you use and the cadence you come up with. So if you know it's going to be really hard for you to do it every week and you're going to only be able to do it once a month, then that's what you need to stick to. But you want to be consistent with it, especially because the YouTube algorithm rewards consistency the more often you do things at the same time. And I'm also going to show you the free analytics tool that YouTube offers to creators called YouTube Studio, which is where you're going to be able to go in and figure out so much about what's working and what's not. And I would love to see in the chat, please let us know, just maybe a yes, I'm using, or no, I'm not. Are you currently using YouTube and or YouTube Studio? I'd love to know that, because so many creators have told me they're not using YouTube Studio. So going back to that cadence aspect, this is just a quick graph of 20/10's own YouTube subscribers. Now, I will say that subscribers do not equate to success by any stretch of the imagination. We have just under 2,000 subscribers, and about 84% of viewers on any video we publish are not subscribers. And that's the case for most channels, right? So for most YouTube channels, a vast majority of your viewers are not even going to be subscribed to your channel. But having more subscribers is a goal, and it's going to help your videos get seen by more people and help the algorithm. But you'll see here, all of these years, 2016, 17, 18, it was sort of once a month I would have a webinar. Sometimes it wouldn't happen that month, and we'd post the video of it. And that was it. Right around here in 2019, we came up with a video strategy, and I would create a video every other week, and that video would be really raw, shot vertically. We would use it on social media as well as upload it to YouTube. No editing, bad lighting, but we started posting twice a week, and you can see the uptick there. Then in 2020, we really got serious about editing the videos, posting every single week, plus a webinar like this multiple times a month. And you can see how the YouTube subscribers upticked. And this also takes into account us looking at the analytics of what works, what doesn't work when we're creating them, and then playing more to that, right? The number one tip I can give you, though, is that there are 37 million YouTube channels. So whatever you're going to create content about should be for a very specific audience, right? So the 2,000 people that are subscribed to our YouTube channel are there because they are financial advisors who want marketing tips. That's a very narrow audience. Marketing is a huge topic. Finance is a huge topic. So just like any other marketing messaging, how narrow can you make your videos for a set group? You're going to perform a lot better if you do that. So I'm actually going to open up our YouTube channel. Oh, wait, sorry. one more thing. Sorry for all the back and forth. Thumbnails. This is something that a lot of you also, have expressed needing help with. Thumbnails are crucially important because they are going to be one of the biggest contributors to what's called click-through rate. So when somebody goes to YouTube and they do a search, whether or not they decide to click on your thumbnail. And so I've got some on the left, great examples, and on the right, it's actually one of my own examples that wasn't a good one. So on the left here, what you'll notice with all of these, maybe any of you want to call it out in the chat, if you can see what they all have in common, there's two main things. They feature a person making an animated face and really big, bold text. And those two things combined make a really great thumbnail. Remember, most people are looking at these YouTube thumbnails on their phone in a lot of cases, or they're on the sidebar of something. They're really small. So the reason this one was not good was A, I look bored. I look really bored in that photo. So it's not a good one. And B, all you can really see from far away is 5 tools. 5 tools for what? The rest of the words are way too small. So the words on your thumbnail, like generate leads, tax bracket changes 2021, retirement in the COVID economy, they need to be, I say like 2 to 4 words is really the sweet spot, and big and bolded on the page. Okay, so let's look at this actually in action. Here's 20 over 10's YouTube channel, which, by the way, I do share tips like this all the time on it. So if you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? You gotta go head over there and subscribe. But you'll see in all of these videos kind of the same principles, right? So in these thumbnails, trying to capitalize on those trends. Now, for what we talked about before with YouTube Studio, where you'll find that is once you have your channel set up, you'll click on your little icon here, and then you'll go to YouTube Studio. And once you're there, you'll be in the Creator Studio. And this is where you're going to get all the information on your latest video performance, your analytics, your content, what's performing well. So I'm going to show you a few things that I really want you to pay attention to first when it comes to analytics, and then we'll talk more about optimizing the videos to get more eyeballs on them. So when you're in your own analytics tab here, this is going to show you a ton of information for the last however many days. So in this case, it's the last 28 days. You can change that if you want to look more historically at different time periods. And it will tell you your average number of views, the total number of watch time, and then the subscribers. And the YouTube algorithm really, really pays attention to a few things. Number one, how much time total somebody spends watching your videos. So the amount of view time. But then they also take into effect the percentage, the total percentage of the video. So if you have a lot of people coming to your channel, but they're only watching 10% of your videos, YouTube is going to start to say, these videos aren't keeping people around for that long. And what does YouTube want to do? They want to keep you there so they can show you more ads. They're going to stop showing your videos to as many people. So the total amount of time people watch is important. So is the percentage of the videos they complete. And then another big thing is how many of the viewers are unique versus returning. They want to see more and more people returning to your channel over and over again. So those 3 factors are all really, really important. Now, what I love to do, of course, is to look at my top videos and see what they have in common, where people are coming from, how people are finding it. So the way you can do that is you can click on any one of your videos, and in the analytics, it's going to tell you, is it more or less than usual for videos in your channel? When it says more than usual, it's not comparing you to all YouTube videos. It's just comparing to other videos on your channel. It'll also tell you the total number of watch time and how many subscribers you've gotten from that particular video. So from just this video, we picked up 71 subscribers to our channel. Now, you can also see down here, right, that key moment of the average percentage viewed. So this is a 7-minute, 40-second video, and on average, people watched 46% of it. You want people to watch at least 40% of your videos, and the longer they are, the smaller the percentage. So when we repost this replay on our channel, and you're all rewatching it, most people aren't going to watch the whole thing. They might skip around. And so the average view time will be a lot less. Plus, it's a big hour-long piece of content, right? So for shorter videos, you would hope that the average view time would be like 50% or more. For longer ones, it's going to be less. Now, the other really interesting thing is that what YouTube is going to tell you is where the traffic who are finding this video are coming from. So we can see 47% of people who are watching this video are actually coming from YouTube search, which is great for me, right? These are people that are not following me on Twitter necessarily. They're not following me on LinkedIn. They're not already known to me as prospects. They're brand new eyeballs that are going to be able to be exposed to my message and learn about what I have to offer. So this is why getting videos to perform well and YouTube to want to show them to more people is so great, because again, it's built in brand awareness and tapping into a whole new audience that you're not even yet aware of. You can also see like further breakdown. So we can see of all the external traffic that's not from YouTube, where are most of them coming from? And we can see things like Twitter was driving a lot of traffic to this video, Google search, right? People going to Google and searching for something and finding it. And then it'll even tell you on YouTube what kinds of keywords people are searching to find this video. Now, what's important about this is based on what people are searching for, I can go back and edit the video to not the video itself, but the description details of the video to include these words. So we see all these words over here. This little section here is what you fill out when you first upload your video. And a few things I want to point out to you. The title itself, you'll see they give you 100 characters. I want you to use almost all 100 every single time. Every word that you include is another chance of a keyword for someone to find your video. So you want to use as many as you can. So you can see I have the title 7 ways to generate leads for your advisory business without cold calling. And then I added that grow in 2021 because it's giving me more. If somebody has something like, how do I grow in 2021 that they're searching as a financial advisor, this video has a better chance of being found. I will say, it's really crucially important that whatever you title your video and whatever you put in your description, those keywords you should say verbally in your video as well. I keep saying Google. YouTube is going to pay attention to is what you're saying your video is all about, what you actually say in the video. They do not want clickbait and scammy videos. So make sure before you record, you think about what the title of that video is going to be and that you say that in your video. That is crucially important. So I always think about the title, which you should anyways, but before I get started. And then in the actual description itself, you'll see we kind of include something that's like a prompt. And this one, it's like a quote, more about what the video is about. And then we always include the link to, if it comes like a blog post or a landing page or somewhere where somebody can go to get even more information and hopefully fill out, a lead capture form. We also always summarize the 7 main points of what the video is about, again, for keyword purposes. And then we have more links. Follow us on Twitter, visit us here if people want to check those out. And then this is also really important. At the end here, we will use hashtags. So we choose 3 hashtags that we want to add to the video so that more people can find it. And what you'll see here is that even though I'm talking about generating leads, I'm not just using lead generation, digital marketing, like more generic. I'm specifically adding hashtags for wealth management because that is the industry that I'm targeting. So we talk about that narrow message. The last thing, of course, is adding in your thumbnail. So what I recommend you use is a tool called Canva. If you've never checked Canva out, just go to canva.com. You can sign in, create an account, and you will see right here is how we actually create all of our different thumbnails. You can search, let's get a box in the way here. They will give you different ones that you can utilize that they've already created. But again, the 2 things to remember are big, bold text and then a picture of a person. It doesn't necessarily have to be you, but I think it should be. That will really help your click-through rates. Okay. So I don't know if I'm missing any other questions, ladies, because I wasn't looking at the box that people had about actually setting up or optimizing YouTube channels that we should address before I go on to sharing on social media.
There was one question about does having closed caption text help in YouTube rankings?
That's a great question. I think everyone is trying to be more ADA compliant. And so I I don't know for sure, to be honest. I've never heard like definitively it does one way or the other, but we always add closed captioning for the videos when we share it on social media, because when people are watching on social media, they often do it with the sound off, and it's very easy to go in and add that in. Most people who are hearing impaired have it set up on their computer that everything has closed caption automatically. So I don't think you need to worry about it. Like if you don't have it on there, I don't think it's going to negatively affect you. Whether it would positively affect you, I honestly don't know the answer. It's a good question.
There was another question about if you have any thoughts, Samantha, on monetizing your YouTube video channels. And interestingly enough, it was an anonymous question. And I was thinking maybe that advisor thinks their compliance officer might be on the line.
It's hilarious. So in order to monetize your channel, you have to have a lot of watch time per year and at least 1,000 subscribers. So before you even get to that point, I really wouldn't worry about it. From a compliance standpoint, I actually have never been asked that question. I don't know if compliance would allow you to monetize your channel. I would assume not, or they would ask you to make an entirely different channel that has nothing to do with investment advice or could be construed as investment advice. And I did see that question come in of like, what are some safe topics that we can talk about that will go through compliance easier? Pretty much as long as you're staying away from investment advice, you're going to have a much easier time getting it through to compliance. And so what I always suggest for people to do is to create the video, get the transcript of it, and submit all of that to compliance at once. So they can they don't have to watch the video. They can read the transcript, easily give you feedback. You might also want to think about creating a script that has bullet points of what you're going to talk about and just send that to them first to make sure that, you know, depending on their turnaround time that they can give you before you go and spend time recording it, that they're good with it. But you ladies work with a lot of advisors doing this. What do you usually suggest?
Yeah, and I put in the chat, we work with RA in a Box, which is a compliance firm. So we vet all of our recommendations through them and also have had really in-depth conversations about advisors using video specifically. And like the high level takeaway, and Candace, maybe we can put that article in the chat that we co-wrote with them. The main takeaway is there's nothing about video that is prohibited by either FINRA or SEC regulations. So anything that you do from a marketing perspective, all of those sort of rules and requirements about what you can and cannot say. We know we can't talk about guarantees. We can't be overly promissory. When we talk about returns, we have to use a lot of disclosures. But there's nothing different between typing an email, writing a blog post, creating market commentary, or shooting a video. So there's nothing that your compliance department can come to you at with a rules and regulations perspective and say you can't do video. What it really comes down to is how flexible is your compliance department and how willing are they to work with you. But the good news is that there are so many advisors doing cool video. You can look for samples on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and share those with your compliance officer just to demonstrate that many advisors are using video. So it's really about how can you work with them to create a process to get a very streamlined and efficient approval process so that you can use video in real time. It's doable. It's very doable.
So I just dropped in the link, and we've had clients come to us and say that they actually sent that to their compliance department to start that conversation. So hopefully it's a helpful resource for you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions about length. And so let's dive into that. And I put these in the slides because I knew that some of you were going to want this after the fact as well. So there's a difference of the amount of video or the length for YouTube versus social media. I do create one video a week that we use and repurpose on social media, landing pages, blog posts, as well as on our YouTube channel. And for that reason, the length of the videos that I personally create are usually between 2.5 minutes on the very short end till about 7 or 8 minutes on the longer end. Usually they fall in the 3 to 4 minute range. Twitter will not let you post a video that's longer than 2 minutes and 20 seconds anyways. So what we have to do when I record those longer videos is get a clip made of the first 2 minutes and then say, for the rest of the video, head here, right? But the reason I do it this way, even though it's not ideal, is because again, it allows me to be consistent. I don't have time to create 4 different lengths of video every week on one topic. Now, that being said, when you are sharing on social media, most people are only going to watch a minute or 2. They're not going to watch the full thing. 1 to 2 minutes is the sweet spot for social media videos. So if you, again, want to follow the same strategy as me, create one video a week, and then you can still upload the whole thing natively to platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, because they'll allow you to upload video there that's much longer in length, about 15 minutes or so. But for Twitter, you'll need to get a clip made. Now, again, I'd keep it between 1 to 3 or 4 minutes on social media tops. You want to upload the video natively. So what you'll see here is this example here of Jeannie Fisher. If I click play, it's going to play right there. Or the example we used earlier on LinkedIn, that wasn't a link out to that advisor's YouTube channel. So you're not linking out to your YouTube channel, you're uploading the video natively. And if you've never done this before, I can show you quickly what it looks like. So you'll go to, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, or whatever it is, and under start a post, you're just going to click that add video button and upload your video file. That's it, as simple as that. When you do that, the other thing to note is that if you do already have a nice thumbnail, your LinkedIn will let you add the thumbnail as well. So let me just do this quickly to show you what one of them looks like. You guys don't all need to see our messy thing here, but let's just say I'm going to upload this video. You can see this is what the thumbnail that automatically comes up, but now I can click select thumbnail and pick a nice, beautiful thumbnail that I've already made for the social feed, right? So it will allow you to add your thumbnail there as well, so that when it's in the feed, it looks like that. So that's how you would do it natively on social media. And again, the different lengths are going to be varied depending on which platform that you're on. A couple other big tips on social media. Make sure that, especially, it used to be on LinkedIn, for instance, if you uploaded a video, you'd get tons of views on it because LinkedIn was trying to prioritize video. Now there's so many people adding video, it's not a magic bullet. So tagging people in your video, other centers of influence, people at your company, people whose messages might resonate with, is a great strategy. And also choosing like 3 hashtags that you want to use on the video. I also always pose a question so that anybody who reads the post hopefully will leave a comment to answer the question, and that will get the algorithm saying, oh, more people are engaging with this post. The other thing you can do, I know many of you are not doing already, is utilize what's called stories. So Instagram has stories, LinkedIn has stories. I think Twitter, does Twitter not? I believe Twitter just either rolled them out or is rolling out stories. So it just allows you to, again, be even more really organic, and you can help promote other things. I know we're getting short on time, so I'm gonna move forward here real quickly on these other ones. If you're adding a video now to like a blog post, so I mentioned before, I'll often take a blog post we already wrote, record a video on it, then we add that video back into the blog. You want to make sure it does not autoplay. There is nothing worse than landing on a page and having it automatically play the video and be all loud, right? So make sure it doesn't autoplay. For these types of blog posts, you would want to embed the video from YouTube and take a topic that you've already got a blog post about and keep it really focused on just that one topic. And then you would also want to transcribe the video for compliance purposes. On your blog post, you're going to repurpose those same thumbnails. So if somebody's just on your website, they're going to be able to tell that that particular blog is a video. So make sure you do that. And then I just wanted to show you, for anybody, I know we have a good number of 20/10 website users here. If you wanted to add videos to your blog, it is so easy. You go into your, whether you're adding a new content of your own or you're using a piece from the content library. So let's say you're going to do this one. So you're going to add the post and then you want to edit it. All you're going to do is find the place in the text where you want to add the video. Click this little insert video button. Let me find a video I want to add here. So this is a video an advisor created about mega backdoor Roth IRA. And you're going to click and then add it and then click insert, and boom, it's there. And when it's on a mobile device or a tablet, it's automatically going to be responsive. So super, super simple and easy to add video to your website using 20/10's website or even LeadPilot tools. Okay, the last thing I wanted to say was I got some questions about email, and ladies, you might want to talk a little bit too. I know, like Candace, you showed that great example of you sending emails. If you're using a video in an email where it's more of like you want to send people to watch something on your YouTube channel, you do not want to try to, upload the video to your email that you created on YouTube. You want to show them that it's a video, but link out to it. So in this example from Riskalyze, you open the email, it looks like it's a picture, it looks like it's Aaron Klein. And if you click play, it's going to play right there in your email, but it's not. When you go to click play, it's actually going to take you to their YouTube channel to play the video. So they just took a screenshot from the video, added a play button over it, and there you go, right? So if you try to actually upload that video as a file to your email, it's not going to be pretty. Just a few other tips. Make sure that, you want to use the word video in the subject line when you're sending video in a lot of cases, because it helps people know what to expect. Oftentimes you'll get better open rates. But Candace, did you want to mention some of the tools maybe that you or your clients have used to send video emails specifically?
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to sound like a broken record, but we've vetted it so many times. I've coached so many advisors on it, and I look at all the tools. And when I speak to the Wistia development team, they're like, you should work for us. And I'm like, I know, seriously, because we just like their stuff so much. But we're just at FiComm, we're huge fans of Soapbox by Wistia, because in one click, you can literally, they give you a clickable thumbnail that you can paste into your email. So they couldn't make it easier. And the reality is, I mean, we debate this ad nauseum with a lot of teams. The ability to play a video in an actually email doesn't exist yet. It's always just an experience where your prospect or client feels like they're receiving a video embedded in an email, but it always clicks out to something else.
That's such good tip. I haven't done that myself yet, but I could see it being useful. And my advisor sends me videos all the time to explain things if we're like moving accounts or filling out paperwork. It's so helpful. So I know we're already at the top of the hour. So many of you have stayed on this entire 60 minutes, which means that you're learning things, which is wonderful. And I'm so glad you all are here. I want to answer a few other burning questions if we have just a minute or so. And then also just remind everybody that all of the resources we mentioned, all of the answers we've given to the questions, these are all going to be added to a really comprehensive blog post we put together with all of the links, all of the guides, the slides, the replay, and that will be emailed out to all of you. So it'll be all in one, easy to find and peruse place. So if you don't have the link to the replay right this second, but we will email it to you afterwards. Ladies, while I was speaking, were there some top of mind questions that came in that you wanted to jump on at all, one or two?
No, I just want to thank everyone for being here. This has been so fun, especially with all your questions. I mean, it was hard to keep up with. It was so interactive and fun. And so I think at the ethos at the end of the day is like, you really want to think about using video as a tool to serve your prospects and clients. So as we've kind of outlined below and everywhere throughout this conversation, keep it simple, keep it valuable, start, get better. And I promise you, it's going to have a huge impact on your business. We see it all the time with all the advisors coming through our workshops. And it's just such a beautiful opportunity to extend the service that you're already having out in the world.
Yeah, there were so many good videos, or excuse me, questions, Samantha, about video. I feel like we might need to do a part 2 to dive into some of it. A lot of it we did answer, but I would just underscore like my gratitude. Thank you, Samantha at 20/10 FMG for having us here. Thank you all for coming and showing up and being present. Super awesome to see how many people are into video. And I just encourage you to, as we said, start small. Just start with something, download Soapbox by Wistia, start recording videos, increase your comfort level. And that will sort of lead you in the direction of how you can use video in the best way for you and your business, because what works for you is not going to work for someone else. It's really all about what works best for your practice and your clients and your prospects.
Yes, I agree 100%. So there's lots of ways that Candace and Meg and myself and our team here at FMG and 20/10 can help all of you. So if you want to learn more about working with us, when you get the email with all the resources, there'll be information on how to contact us if you want to inquire about how we can help you with your own marketing strategy. So thank you all again and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.